to promote the effective and efficient use of the town's wind energy resources through wind energy conservation systems, and to regulate the placement of such systems so that the town public health, safety, welfare, and environment will not be jeopardized. And that's what the planning board was purpose, and it says purpose, the town board of the town of Parishville adopt this local law to promote what I just said. But if you read between the lines, and if the town board, from their experience, would probably tell you, another purpose of this law is to keep the town from getting sued, right? And that's what they have to look for. It's not written in this document, but it's kind of understood.
Of course.
All kind of goes together. Yes.
So, if we're making any changes, we have to push this law out, right? I'm just asking.
No,
Yeah.
it's, we made some changes last night, you can make some changes tonight.
We have to make some changes tonight.
But then you have to have another 7 days before you can vote on it. And because we made these changes last night, you have to have 7 days from now before you can vote on it.
In
And
which
we want,
case, we would just set another meeting,
but we wanna vote on it on Wednesday, right?
if we can.
Is there a, is it because the
Filing deadlines, the attorneys want to make sure that.
we're done before they move forward, right? So this is a good work in progress, that's all.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand where I'm at. Every time we do one of these local laws, you guys confuse me. We change something and then we have to meet about 6 more times and I'm like, okay, well, what's my deadline here? Okay. So we know we still have work to do, but we wanna get this in place. Okay. I'm just trying to understand where I am.
Any more comments? Yes, ma'am. Beth.
On page 22, section E, financial assurance for the decommissioning of the board, of the decommissioning bond or fund. Historically, wind companies have gone bankrupt and reappeared in another name. So a letter of credit doesn't work. Basically, only an escrow account. You know, it's kind of like a dog who wants to be petted, goes out of the room and comes back and is a different dog. I don't know if you can do that. That may be one of your limitations. But letters of
Yeah,
credit don't
in
work
section
historically.
2.11E, yeah, we do ask for a bond.
It says, the financial assurance may be in the form of a letter of credit, a bond, escrow account, a parent guarantee, or other form approved
It
by the
says
town.
financial assurance for decommissioning bond or fund.
Right, but a letter of credit doesn't work, because the entity will change and the letter of credit will change. Historically, it happens.
Perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah, a letter of credit, that should be taken right out of that sentence.
Yeah, that's, if you can do it.
They can do it.
Oh, yeah, they can,
Sure, okay.
there are $1,000 in escrow fees to everybody out in Clayton County.
Hey, anybody else? Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Scott McDonald, Abingford Renewables, thank you for the opportunity. One thing I'm hearing is there appears to be perception that we've got to get this done right away. And in the PSS, I think Fred has even made reference to page 161, which says that we have to consider what your revised local law is. It's clear that we have to do that. So, I'm understanding that you're getting some legal guidance on this, but the process, like you're saying, the process goes on. So the idea that you have to rush to get something done is in our view, is not correct. You've got time, to understand all the issues. So maybe this isn't a rush to get this done. It's still a process. And if you have to if you find changes and you make them, it's not detrimental to any part of the process. Just want to make some comments. There's been a great deal of misinformation about our proposed project and wind development in general, and should be addressed in the official record. Materials submitted by Atlantic Wind in the form of peer-reviewed studies, reports, and also presentations like last night show that properly cited wind energy development will not result in negative health and safety impacts. Despite this fact, the proposed local law has been revised several times to incorporate more restrictive requirements that don't have any basis in science, do not provide the public any greater protection, and have no apparent purpose other than to create an obstacle to the development of wind energy in Parishville. This approach hurts landowners who want to participate in wind energy development and the larger community that stands to benefit from the proposed project. The latest version of the proposed local law provides a maximum sound pressure level of 35 dBA during the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. the following day. The ambient sound level in many locations within this town will be out of compliance if this standard was adopted. In addition, the standard is not based on any peer-reviewed studies and is not proposed as part of any larger plan to regulate noise from any other commercial use or sources of sound throughout the town. As noted recently by the St. Lawrence County Planning Board, there are a number of permitted uses that Fred read throughout the town that exceed these thresholds, including but not limited to forestry, mining and mineral processing operations, and farm operations. There's no reason why wind development should be subject to overly restricted levels when other commercial uses are not. The requirement to measure sound levels at non-participating boundary lines instead of the non-participating residents is also unduly burdensome. Constructions of the turbines will take place primarily on remote wooded areas or in the middle of farm fields, generally away from residences. If the purpose of the sound limit is to prevent sleep disturbance and minimize annoyance and complaints, which is the basis for the limits in the first place, and also supported by the scientific literature provided to the board, then there is no rational reason to measure sound levels at the property line. Thank you.
Thank you. Gary?
Just a comment on Scott's first remark. The longer you delay, the more opportunity they have to use the old law. Remember that, and that's their goal.
Yeah.
Be able to use the old law, not your revised law. So I urge you to move forward and get your revised law in place. Thank you.
Can I comment on that, sir? So the old law stands, your current law has 2,000 feet from residences, and also it has, I believe it's 500 feet.
1,200 feet from residents.
Yeah.
No, it's 2,000. 2,000 feet. And which the difference is, and we've designed the wind plant to 2,000 feet from residents right now. We actually, in our internal setbacks, are greater to property lines than you have in your current law. The difference is that your current law has 45 dBA at the property line. We cannot build this plant at 45 dBA at the property line. And I think that everything that we've presented to the board and the planning board supports our view that that is not necessary from health and safety, and I think we heard that last night. And again, in the packets of information that we provided to the boards, also to the planning boards, and also to CCRP. We can only build this project at 45 dBA at the residence. So the point is that we cannot build under the current local law. So that is not a correct statement.
Not a problem.
Yeah, that's.
We're good with that.
I'd like to have our own sales sit outside our lawn without having a screen.
Yes, I agree with Gary that we need to pass this law because it is evident that they do not intend to go by the new law because they know that it's been 2,500 feet for months, and yet on their, site plan or whatever, they're using the old, setbacks for Hopkinton and Parishville. So, they say they're going to comply with the new law, but I agree. Put it through. If we have to do a second one later on, do a second one. But this is better than what's on the books, and we thank you for your efforts to protect everybody.
Everything he said, I hear what he's saying, and I know where it's coming from, and